We're done at being the world power. The reserve currency is going to transfer into BRICS Pay. BRICS Pay is going to become.
I'm not a financial advisor.
5-6 weeks ago, there was 7,560 gold kilo bars delivered to BRICS Hong Kong, and that's $580 million worth of gold. The COMEX usually only deals in 100-ounce gold bars. They have mini contracts with kilo bars, but who does deal in kilo bars is the Shanghai Gold Exchange. And the theory is that they are draining the Western exchanges using the manipulation of the Western markets to suppress gold and silver because they are the canary in the mine shaft to drain the exchange. You see, these exchanges, both the LBMA and COMEX, have delivery mechanisms, but they were never designed for that. They figure, yeah, we have to offer it to give it legitimacy, but no one will do it. And it was true. The LBMA is 140 years old, but COMEX is since 74. And most of these countries in the Southern Hemisphere, up until just recently, were not coordinated enough, sophisticated enough, wealthy enough, or cunning enough to drain the system, to take delivery. But this is what they are doing. They are trucking them over upon delivery in Hong Kong to the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which over the last 75 days, the accumulated volume between the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which is cash and carry, here's the money, here's the gold, and the Shanghai Futures Exchange has exceeded that of the COMEX. It's increased by 200%. And it's now it's the second most active metals hub on the planet. There are guys like Alistair McLeod, who I put a tremendous amount of stock in. He's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He'll tell you they have 38,000 metric tons, not the 2,700 they're telling us, that the people have 18,000 and the state has 20. There's a wide gamut of people who are making guesses. But what I will say is that China understands what gold is. It's wealth. It's not an investment. It's wealth. And they've had that understanding for thousands of years, and they are accumulating it and not telling. Why would they ever want to tell us? And it's just as silly to believe the opposite. Here in the United States, we supposedly have 8,311
No,
whatever,
yeah.
but it hasn't been audited since 56. And when Ron Paul said, let's audit Fort Knox, he was turned down. Why? It's not
of course it was turned down.
It's not in the country's vested interest to tell anyone how much gold they have. So China probably has way, way, way more than we do, and way more than the world assumes they do. And when you realize it's now the only other tier one asset, and the BRICS currency will be 40%, the settlement currency will be 40% backed by gold, these things start to come into, oh yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I think it's a lot more than the world thinks. But to your point, central banks are buying it at a level the world's never seen before.
Yeah, and I think really for my audience to kind of understand this, like what's happening is that all of these countries have had all of these dollars forever, right? Ever since we became the reserve currency at Bretton Woods, they have dollars. All the countries must have dollars in their banks to exchange international transfers and things like that. So what's happening is now those dollars that we use to buy goods and commodities to come over to the United States, now those goods and commodities are old and used. And unfortunately, we're getting all the dollars back too on top of it now. And so what you're seeing the value of the dollar go down, and these countries are buying gold because they know what's coming. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't exactly unequivocal on a lot of things. It's really hard to tell people that there's not a lot of hope for this country. It's really hard to say that. But one thing I noticed in your interview is, you do seem to have some level of hope, much more. I think it's done. It's all done. BRICS is taking over. They're going to take over the reserve. There's nothing we can do to stop that. CBDCs are coming. It's coming. It's just a matter of how fast. And so what people don't understand, I had this tweet I put out the other day that basically said, right now we are frogs in water, and we are in the transition from the lukewarm where we're fine, to the boiling where we'll die. But we haven't figured it out yet. You've got the Atlantic Council out there pushing an article this week saying, BRICS failed. The dollar's still the best, and still the dollar is beating BRICS. That's what the sister of the Council of Foreign Relations, an American think tank, put out as an article in a report that went all over crypto a couple days ago. And in my opinion, my message to people is preparing them for what's coming. It doesn't have to be apocalypse. We can keep some standard of living here, but we're done at being the world power. The reserve currency is going to transfer into BRICS Pay. BRICS Pay is going to become, and the dollar is going, if we're lucky, if we handle this the right way and it doesn't go totally south, which I think you're seeing some military positioning just in case things go south here, not because people want to threaten us. Because there will be some civil unrest when we lose this reserve currency. We just lost the petrodollar agreement. Nobody even knows, right? So when people start feeling all this stuff, it could be very bad, but it doesn't have to be Armageddon. It can be normal transition. And the best hope for the dollar is to become a high valued currency in the basket of currencies that is in BRICS Pay.